What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the show. We're back in Slovenia, back in the mountains, back in the cold. We're here just repacking for a few days, kind of getting our bearings for the last week run of our trip, but we wanted to come back up to one of our favorite places, Lake Bohinj, which is about an hour and a half from Katya's hometown. So we drove up here in the dark this morning to shoot this beautiful church and bridge and reflection behind me. Now, we have shot this, I don't know, a dozen times, and every time it seems like either the weather doesn't cooperate or we get beautiful mist, but then there's ducks just jacking up the reflection all morning. That's happened. It was like, anyway. We're back here for another morning of shooting. It looks really good. We've got mists, we've got some fog, so everything's sort of light boxing as that morning light starts coming in. Everything's really evenly lit. The first frame or two that I snapped off just to make sure I like the composition look super good. So I'm excited. Hopefully we'll get a great shot this morning. So yeah, welcome back to the show. I'm glad you're here, and here we go. Now, ordinarily, when we shoot here, we shoot from the beach over there because the water level is usually high enough that none of this that I'm on right now is exposed. Katya's standing on a little pier that goes out here, a little fishing pier, but it's too high. You gotta be down low, close to the water to get the right reflection here. So we've got this nice little spot of gravel. So far, I haven't stepped in the water once. And the ducks are back, so our reflection's gonna be, not. I don't know, we'll show them or something. Now, as you can see, I've lowered the tripod even further. The closer we can get to the surface of the water, the better that reflection is going to be. But I also really don't want to sit down on these wet rocks because we're going to be up here all day, and these are my only pants. So I've got as low as I can get and still see the viewfinder. And for the moment, our little duck friends have vacated the premises, and the water's starting to calm down. We also have a little bit of light coming in from behind the church, which is great, but the fog's almost so thick that I can't focus. So we're just waiting, the light's changing. I'm having to adjust my settings every minute or two because the level of the light's coming up and I'm shooting on manual, so I've just got to watch that histogram and continue to roll down that shutter speed as the light changes. One of the tricky things about shooting in fog like this, aside from that it's constantly moving and constantly creating changes in the light, is that it can be really hard to focus. And so I'm waiting for just those little moments when the cloud moves through, just gives me just enough of a window that I can pick out something either on the structure or on the trees in front to get my focus locked in. And then once I've got it, I just don't touch it because this stuff just keeps pushing through here. It hasn't cleared up hardly at all, and the ducks have decided that this is their morning time to swim laps in the lake in front of me. So it's all just a waiting game. The light's coming up. It looks really, really beautiful, but we just need just a little bit of clarity. The church, like I can see the bottom of it, but the further it goes up the steeple, the more misty and cloudy it gets up there, so it gets just really soft and it's more just a silhouette. So this may just be one of those shots that looks really sort of autumnal and cold and misty, and it's more shapes and shades, and we've got some nice yellow grass here in the foreground and a few rocks in the water that'll give us a little anchor in the foreground, and then we can just let this fall off as it goes away from us. Might be nice. I'm still hoping for a little bit clearer shot, so we'll hang out. The morning's still young, and as usual. All right, so we're starting to get the light. Oh, remote control in the water. No. Not the first time. That went well. The light's really super even. The sun's now been up for about a half an hour, but everything's still very, very muted, very flat, very light boxy. I say that a lot, but I love it when it's like this because there's so much dispersion in the air of the light that everything's evenly lit. Like my histogram is just unbelievably even, and it'll probably be hard to get enough contrast for detail. So we're gonna have to go a little stylized probably with this when we get it back into the computer, unless this fog just kind of pushes off and we're able to see through it. We're gonna keep waiting. The ducks have kind of cleared off, so the reflection's getting better, which is really great. Yeah, so still just waiting for fog to clear, waiting for light to, waiting. That's the story of this. This should just be called the waiting channel. Ducks. Go away, ducks. That'll teach them. Or not. Finally, the sun has kind of pushed through. You can see the little church a little bit better. It's actually better through the camera. It's getting pretty washed out with this exposure. But the sun's hitting one side of the church and just creating a really beautiful shadow. And I've actually switched. Come down here. I've switched. I'm using a 10-stop neutral density filter so that I can slow this down. I'm shooting f4, but I'm going for 2 full seconds. We have some ripples on the water. It's still from the ducks. There's a couple out there that have decided they're in a fight, and they just freak out and splash and just wreck the whole thing. So to mitigate that, I have a 10-stop neutral density filter, the Lee Big Stopper, in front of the lens, and that's allowing me to shoot down to 2 seconds at f4, which is plenty to really even out the water. Kind of lets all those ripples even out over those 2 seconds, and at least gives us a nice looking water scene part. Gives us a nice reflection in the water you can at least see it, because otherwise it's just a bunch of ripples and it looks like a mess. And I'll try and take a picture like that so you can see what I'm talking about when I'm done here. I'm actually going to pull this up now. I'm going to go all the way up to f9 and see just how fast that is. It looks like f9's a 10-second exposure, which is probably excessive, and there's going to be some cars probably. So we're just going to hold our breath for 10 seconds here while this goes and hope that nothing enters the scene. I can hear cars. I know something's going to happen. Oh, nothing. Nobody drove. Okay, well, let's try it one more time. As soon as I push the shutter, here comes the car. Now 10 seconds, maybe it won't show up, or maybe it'll be a little blur. We won't use that frame. And another car. Anyway, I'm going to keep sort of trying this, and then I'll switch back to the other. Hey, it's Katya. And then we'll take the filter off, and I'll show you what that looks like with all the ripples. But it's a mess. We're gonna need the slower exposure to make this shot work. Here we go again. Go cars, go! Every time. 10 seconds is a long time for nobody to be using that bridge, apparently. All right, 10 seconds. This could be a really good exposure, this one right here. It's getting really good. Oh, car! On my knees from crouching down like this all morning in the cold. Oh. We're gonna get something. Just keep clicking off that shutter and keep hoping that nobody comes, and keep hoping that the light just stays really, really beautiful, because it is. We're getting just a little like fade of blue at the top over the top of all of the whiteness. Let me just turn around. I'll make this exposure right for you so you can see it. Hang on, here we go. So meanwhile, the light is perfect, everything is going off, and now there's a whole group of tourists that have just offloaded and have decided to walk out under the bridge and take selfies with ducks. Alright guys, we are back to the hotel. I have done the editing portion of the shot, and I actually recorded that for you because I wanted to walk you through my process of dealing with an image with the unique challenges of fog and very even light and that sort of thing. So if that's your cup of tea, I'm going to release that in a separate video because this video is already starting to get long, and that's another like 15 minutes of me just yammering on about editing. So yeah, we're just gonna end this episode here. I'm gonna show you the shot. It's coming. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the little bell if you want to be notified, and hang out with me again. I really appreciate it. I'm new here to YouTube and every little bit helps. So anyway, until next time, I'll see you.